So next up, we have an interactive session, which we would call a century on, a century ahead. We have with us Yuri Sebrechts, EVP of Technology at Projects and Technology at Shell. Thank you for coming, Yuri. Yuri, a Shell leader, he's passionate about working with the changemakers of tomorrow, the next-gen innovators, and that's exactly what the next segment will be all about. With Yuri, we have Aada Chowdhury, a STEM enthusiast and an innovator passionate about solving environmental issues, brilliant at that, using technology and policy-based solutions. Let's give it a huge, loud, 5,000 decibel cheer for Yuri and Aada, please. The stage is all yours.
So, hello everyone, I'm Aada. I'm 18 years old. I grew up in a small town called Bareilly, and I was dissatisfied with the status quo of letting your age be the barrier in making an impact. So, I joined TKS. TKS is the world's top innovation program that exposes high schoolers to emerging technologies and guides them to solve the world's biggest problem. One of the problems I've worked on is that carbon capture technologies are energy inefficient. To make them efficient, we thought, can we incorporate carbon capture in daily use products? So we looked at plants, and plants can do this very efficiently. They use photosynthesis to convert CO2 into biomass and O2 using just sunlight. So we created a bio-ink that is made from algae and can be bioprinted on external fabrics, such as stadium sun covers, parasols, gazebos, and even if this tent right now was printed with the bio-ink, it could capture carbon right now. Another problem I've worked on is that coral reefs are actually dying from environmental toxins. They do have detoxification enzymes, but the problem is that they don't produce enough enzymes, and we can gene edit them to produce more enzymes. The problem comes when we have to locate it and inject these viral vectors to edit them. So I have also designed a biosensor which can gene edit the reef while locating and sending a signal to the satellites. I am very passionate about using these technologies to actually have an impact through solving environmental issues and work towards a net zero world. And that's why I'm very excited to be here, because Yuri is also working towards creating a net zero world by being one of the pioneers at Shell using innovations in energy. So please give a huge round of applause for having Yuri with us. So I'm really excited to have this conversation with you. To start us off, I would love to know what mindsets have helped you make an impact and find work that truly aligns with the impact you want to have.
Well, thank you for that question. I was afraid for a moment you were going to ask me something about enzymes, and then I'd be in trouble, because clearly you know way more about that than I do. Also, you give me too much honor. I'm not necessarily the person who pioneers technologies in Shell. I'm the person who has the privilege to lead lots of other people who actually do the pioneering, and my role is to create the context for them. But your question was what, in my career, it took for me to have an impact, and that's a far more generic question, which probably doesn't only apply to CTOs, but to other leaders as well. What's important from a context perspective is that I didn't always do innovation as the core of my career. Most of my career I've spent in operational environments at refineries and chemical plants and in commercial jobs negotiating with customers. I think one common element that it takes to be successful and impactful is to take pride in your profession, in your professional work, to really want to do a good job, because your boss or the people around you or your customers, all of them don't actually know as well as you do how well you did the job. And if you really pride yourself in the content of the work, that's going to make a difference. Secondly, I would say, especially for leaders, humility is important. Don't try and know everything better than everybody else around you. You actually have to force yourself to hold judgment to allow for innovation and creativity to flourish. And there's another reason why that is important. You have to strive to always be fair in everything that you do. And if you jump to judgment too quickly, that gets in the way of fair treatment and fair opportunity for all the people around you. And the third and final thing that I'll mention is don't micromanage, but create space.
Right.
Don't get involved in everything yourself. Be there to help when there is a call for help, but other than that, create space for other people to be successful.
Yeah.
So those are some of the things that I would encourage to other leaders as well.
Yeah, and Shell has done a tremendous job in creating an innovation ecosystem. And speaking of innovations, which innovations are you personally excited about in building a net zero world?
Depends a little bit about whether it's in the near term or in the long term. And it's very hard to choose which innovations I'm most excited about. And the reason for that is that in order for the world energy system to become climate neutral, without holding back the availability of energy to improve people's lives, we'll need a whole series of solutions. There is not one solution that gets us there. But for the organization that I lead and the company that I'm part of, something that I'm very excited about for the near term is everything that has to do with hydrogen as an energy carrier. Every credible energy transition scenario that is well researched and technologically and scientifically sound predicts that the world will need a significant amount of hydrogen as an energy carrier to decarbonize hard to abate sectors such as industry or maybe heavy-duty transport. And hydrogen is something that Shell should innately be good at. It's a lot about chemical engineering, reactor engineering, catalysis, storage, transport. All these things are aspects of technology that we should be able to really make a difference and help our customers decarbonize. If you look at the longer term, I'm actually fascinated by developments in nuclear fusion. I don't think nuclear fusion is there to help us the next couple of decades.
Right.
I think it's going to take longer because it's very hard scientifically to first get a reactor to produce more energy than it consumes. But even once you've done that, you probably need all kinds of very special materials, etc., that are not abundantly available. So it will take decades for this to be big. But in the long run, it's kind of the holy grail of energy transition. And then something that particularly excites me in the long run is to combine nuclear fusion with direct air capture. We're starting to suck CO2 back out of the atmosphere and either turn it into useful products or store it safely in geological storage. A problem with direct air capture is that it will consume a lot of energy. But if you have nuclear fusion, you couple the two, you should probably be okay. And I see that maybe not for this century, but for the next century, this could be very important to get back in balance in the atmosphere.
Yeah. So right now we're in Bangalore. So I'm pretty sure all the employees here would love to hear your take on what role does Bangalore have in helping Shell towards its goal of achieving net zero emissions by 2050.
Okay. Well, the most important feature of Bangalore is that it's in India. And that's what makes it so exciting for us as a hub. Now, it wasn't my idea to start a third technology hub for Shell in Bangalore. It was my predecessors about 20 years ago who saw that India as an emerging economy and a growing powerhouse in science and technology was going to be very important for the world and therefore for us as a global company. We had two major technology centers historically in Houston in the US and in Amsterdam in the Netherlands because that's where historically our heartlands for our industrial operations was. But we could see that having a base in India was going to be super important for our future. And that has worked out tremendously well. In those 20 years, we've grown from a very small first kernel to now about 850 colleagues here based at this particular campus. About half of them are scientists doing research. The other half are engineers doing technical support and advanced engineering, etc. And then, of course, we've got many more colleagues in IT in other parts of the city, many, many thousands in total. We have about 10,000 Shell colleagues in the country, most of them in IT, but a very important group here. We do a wide range of things. We do nothing here that is specific and unique. Our scientists and technologies here at Bangalore are part of our global ecosystem.
Right.
We have global teams working on problems, and depending on what the problem is, we see who's the best people available to make up a team, and it's usually a mix of colleagues here in Bangalore and colleagues maybe in Boston and in Houston and in Germany and other places, and they form integrated teams. Here we are particularly strong in digital innovation, but also in catalysis and in a number of computational engineering sciences. Those are real powerhouses. And I expect that before the end of this decade, Bangalore will be our biggest of the three hubs, because there is so much talent here that can help us be successful in our mission that it is bound to be. There's one other aspect that's very important about being India, and that's the partnerships. Not only the talent that works with us on site, we have very important partnerships with academic institutes here in Bangalore and in other cities in India, and also with commercial partners, because it's, of course, a very fast-growing economy. Yeah? By the middle of this century, probably one of the biggest economies in the world, and partnerships in such a vibrant economics and science ecosystem is very important for us to achieve our mission.
Right. And I definitely agree about Bangalore being one of the leaders in digitalization, because I had the privilege to interact with lots of Shell employees today, and they are very knowledgeable in how we can further digitalization in energy. So today we had like an amazing exposure to all the innovations the new generation is developing. So for the students and as well as their parents, what mindsets would you look for in the future workforce of Shell?
Well, I hardly dare specify that, frankly, for another generation, because the experiences that were right for me at my point in my career in the country and in the times that I lived in may not work for others. But let's say when you're a digital innovator or a physical innovator or at the interface, and you would come and join us as a company, then you're going to deploy those sciences and technologies in energy. And we're an energy company. And the major challenge that we have ahead of us is not for the faint-hearted. Again, we need to help transition the world's energy system to become climate neutral without reducing the availability of energy. In fact, the world needs more energy. So that's a very hard slog. So mindsets that you need to work in that and be successful is you have to be very purpose-driven. You have to see why you are doing this. It's probably not to make very quickly a very large amount of money by creating an app that you then sell to Twitter for 20 million and then you go and do leisure. No. Here you come to really work on something that matters. So purpose-driven is really important. The other thing that comes with that is you're going to have to be resilient. Not everything is going to work. And the journey towards a climate-neutral energy system is going to be a constant journey of 2 steps forward and 1 step back. There's going to be setbacks. You're going to try things. They will not always work. Then it's important in a mindset to learn from the setback, and after the step back, do another 2 steps forward again. And so ultimately, we walk this journey, but resilience is going to be very important. Now, I'd like to turn the question around and say, you are at the start of your working life. It's going to start, soon, once you've studied your education. What would you look for in a place to work and be able to, be who you want to be and achieve what you want to achieve?
That's a great question. Personally, in the workplace I would like to work for, purpose is huge. I want to make sure that the work and the purpose we are working towards is impactful. It aligns with my values. So a value-driven workplace is the one I'm targeting, as well as collaboration among various fields. I strongly believe that the next innovations will not come from different disciplines being separated, but actually when these disciplines are combined. And I've experienced that through multiple projects that I've built, is that when you combine two different technologies, when you intersect them, you can build something totally new that actually benefits both these different fields. One project that I worked on, I combined the field of optogenetics, which allows us to control cells with light, with genetic engineering. So when I combined them, I was able to analyze which tools we can use to make light-sensitive gene editing tools. And when I talked about my research at a National Genomics Institute in Delhi, even the genomics researchers were quite surprised that even this could happen, and it also provided value to them. So for me, in the workplace, values and as well as the collaboration that is prioritized would definitely help me decide which place to work at. And I think Shell definitely looks like a great place to work at from all the experiences I've had, and talking with the executives, the employees, everybody is quite passionate actually about building a net zero world. It's not just something that we're doing to present an image or to push forward an agenda, but something that we understand is important and is crucial to building a positive world where humanity can actually thrive. So I think I should say thanks to you, and thanks to all the executives, employees who have given the innovators, the new generation, their time and their guidance. And I really look forward to interacting more with you in the coming 2 days. Thank you so much, Yuri, for this interaction. I'm pretty sure all the people who've listened are really grateful to your time as well. And I'll hand over to Divyanshu, our amazing MC, who has been leading this conference so amazingly with so much energy and enthusiasm. Please give it up for Divyanshu as well.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Yuri. Thank you so much, Aada. Thanks for that really interesting conversation.